Oh, hello. Right, probably the one a lot of people have been waiting for. Drugs. I'll start. I'm going to say a few things that I feel I ought to say. What you're going to see in this journal, whatever you want to call it of mine, is what I use. And the results of those dosages, side effects, everything else. I'm not going to hide a thing. I don't, for one instance, recommend that people run the doses that I'm running. I have an incredibly good tolerance to steroids, and I don't suffer sides much at all. I've been as high as 1.5 grams of tren a week and had no real discernible sides whatsoever. So I say I cope with the drugs very, very well. What I don't cope with is fast actings, particularly propionate, test propionate. Not from a side effect point of view, as in feeling ill or anything, but I get very large swellings in the sites that I inject. So that could be fun when we get to the back end of this lot. Anyway, I'm going to show you my area that I use for injecting. Now it's all laid out, everything there. I'll show you what I'm using and the rest of it. But for a start, I just wanted to say I don't condone steroid use. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm just for people being educated and making educated decisions. This is in no way a promotion of drug use, but it is in no way scaremongering either. This is just an honest journey of what happens to me when I take the drugs that I take. For most people, I'd actually recommend that you don't take, or that you at least start incredibly low. Now, in saying that, I'm going to be running some quite high doses. My initial start dose will be 2 grams of testosterone a week, enthanate, and 1.2 grams of deca, churabolin. 150 milligrams of anavar, split 50 AM, 50 pre-workout, 50 PM. 100 milligrams of proviron, split 50 AM, 50 PM. And initially 10 milligrams of aromacin. And we'll see how we go. I am thinking of actually going quite high with the deca, pushing into the 2.5 gram range, and running the test up as well into the 3 to 4. So I'm possibly going to peak out about 5 or 6 grams of injectables. Won't be for the longest period of time, and my cycle changes roughly every 8 weeks. So I was starting with test nth, deca, oxys. I'll then go to NPP, test nth, oxys. I'll then go to tren nth, test nth, anavar, and then I'll finish on test prop, trenace, mass prop, anavar. Growth is initially going to start at 5 IUs PM every other day. I'm aiming to push this up to 10, but we'll see how it goes with sides. I'm better if I step up slowly, so 5, 7.5, then 10. The sides shouldn't, I'd give me a chance for my body to adapt, and the sides shouldn't be so bad. If I bring slin into the equation, if I bring insulin in, which is on the cards possibly, then my injection protocol for growth will change, and I will do growth 30 minutes pre 5 meals in a day, and then slin with each meal in a day, 1 or 2 IU depending on what dose I'm running at. Now, the drugs I'm using are they're both UGLs for the steroids. They're either precision anabolics or they are signature pharmaceuticals. Like both these products. Real fan of precision, but I know signature's quality stuff as well. I'll also be running HCG, 500 IU every Monday and Thursday. And my injections, unless they're fast acting, will be every Monday and Thursday as well. Fast actings I run every day. The growth is norditropin, pharma pens, all being well. They still haven't arrived, but they're supposed to be here today or tomorrow. The HCG is Pregnol, and the proviron is pharma proviron as well. So that's roughly where my drugs are and what they are. There is an element of suck it and see. At the time, I've no idea what I'm running the MPP at, and I've no idea how high I'm going to go with the test and Deca. I'll just see how I react and what happens and judge it from there. And that's it, really. I mean, oh, sorry, yes, my usage history. I thought I'd better tell you about that. Right, I trained from 16 to 19 as a natural, and I competed as a natural. I was 14 stone 3 on stage. I then started to use, and I went from 19 stone to, well, sorry, from 19 to 24, pretty much I used consistently with no breaks. So just over a 4-year cycle. What I did do was I ran HCG regularly, and I changed my products usually every 4 or 6 weeks. So I'd run 2 injectables and an oral, and I'd change one every 4 to 6 weeks. No real science behind what I was taking, didn't really know, and no real planning on cycles. I just shoved in whatever the guy I bought off said was good. And didn't do me so bad. Got to a pretty big lad on that and pretty strong. Squatting 7 plates, deadlifting 7 plates, benching 4.5, shoulder pressing 4.5. So I was, decent lump. Detached my pec, fell out of training, stopped using, didn't use for 12 years plus. Since I've come back to training, I have done 4 12-week cycles, 2 a year for 2 years, and then this year I ran from January till beginning of August, roughly. And in that I experimented with dosages, because up to that point I'd never gone over a gram. I'd never run a high course at all. So from January I experimented with doses, and I found that for me, at about 3G, things really changed. So now that was using test and tren, so we're going to see what happens using test and Deca, but starting at the 3G mark, and see where we go from there. Now the thought behind my cycle is simply this. Big bulk drug-wise at the beginning, I know my weight's going to climb very rapidly, and I'll probably be busting 24, 25 stone within a matter of 4-6 weeks. Obviously there's going to be a lot of water, a lot of glycogen, I understand that. Then of the rest of the cycle, up into body power in May, I don't really expect the weight to change much, either up or down. Just that the water will slowly be dissipated off, and muscle will be replaced. So the weight will stay consistent, but I'll just get leaner and bigger and harder. That's the plan. Obviously we'll have to see how it goes. Now my shoulder's still not 100%, but it is a lot better. Back pressing 140 kg behind the neck press, so I'm getting there. Nowhere near what I can do, but definitely better than it was. I was going to hold off until it was 100%, but I actually think bringing the Deca and growth in are going to improve it, that last bit that it needs. So initially my training is going to be a little bit handicapped on shoulders and a few other bits and bats on chest, but I'm hoping within a couple of weeks that will be a past deal, all done and dusted. Right, that's it for this part. I'm going to switch off now. I'll start a new one in a minute, and I'll show you where I do everything.